We're just being extra.
You know, we just spoke about if we were men, what size would we be? I said personally, a good 6 or 7, but wide, but knows how to fuck. You know?
Are we in
What
an
about
extra
you, Erica?
dirty discussion still?
I mean, if you want to continue it, that would be fun. I had a good time. But hey, if you don't know who you're listening to, welcome to the Just Extra podcast with Jackie and Erica. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Erica. Yes, we're excited to be here with y'all. It's a little late recording. I think I've already had a glass and a half or 2 maybe of wine, but that's okay because it's necessary. Yeah, well, we're going to just jump right in because we got a lot to get through today. We always start our podcast episodes with our extra thoughts segment. So basically, this is a segment of our podcast where we talk about the last episode that we created. What was that? An extra dirty discussion? Is that where we were?
Yeah,
no,
extra dirty
holiday
discussion.
No, it was holiday
Oh,
leftovers and letdowns. That's the recent episode that we just discussed. Yes, so we are on to new great things.
I'll say, y'all, if y'all didn't listen to that episode, I just had a really, really fun time with that one. It was a good time. I had a good time.
What was your favorite part?
Just honestly, when people are asked like interesting questions that are a little frank and off the table or whatever, like you just want to see where people go. Y'all my friends. I kind of already know where y'all hang out at. But it's funny when you ask these questions to people you just met, like in a room full of people. But can I say, this is really random. I just had this thought. I don't like playing Never Have I Ever with people I already know. Because that shit is just, you just airing out my tea at this point. So, and I'm like, what the hell?
I basically name all the drugs.
Yeah, or I just name all the threesomes and call it a day. I'd be like, you know what? That's it.
Right.
But that's just like, okay, well, that's kind of lame because we already know, and that's like kind of cheating. So,
So would y'all ever play We Listen and We Don't Judge? Would y'all ever play that?
That's going viral on the interwebs. Okay. Would I ever play We Listen and We Don't Judge? No. I'm too sensitive. I think I think that seems to be like it's a game, but it's not a game. Y'all have something you want to tell me, and I just think that you need a different environment to actually have a real serious conversation with me. Okay, y'all trying to play games with real serious conversations, and it ends up not being funny at all. So yeah, I mean, don't. If you want to maintain a relationship, don't start it with no games. No, none of those types of games. Okay, no, I wouldn't play unless it's like we agreed upon the questions and they were like fun.
Oh, you know what? I feel like, I don't know why, but we really come up with these random ways to be vulnerable with each other as a people. Like, just like, the one where people was running like, suspect over here got the, got to expand.
Hassan wanted us to do that.
No, I feel like that would have been great content. We could have kept it like, just podcast friendly. We could have just did that.
Okay, we're women.
Well, it would be
feelings, okay.
Definitely.
And I don't want my feelings hurt.
Yeah, I can see y'all. A funny one would be like, suspect doesn't know how to keep her catch-up brief. That's me. I don't. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not offended.
Like, suspect does not show up on time if her life depended on it. I'm like,
definitely
what?
It would be that then. That's where it started right there.
That's a spot on right there.
See, already triggering me. I don't like that.
You named it.
I know. See, I was trying to be vulnerable and I wasn't ready. Okay, whatever. I already know myself. Anyway, all right, let's do a quick catch up. Well, actually, let's do extra thoughts. Did you like the last episode? Well, I know we talked about the dirty thoughts one, but holiday letdowns and
leftovers and letdowns.
Yeah.
I think it was a good episode. Obviously, Hassan pressured some information out of me, but I guess that's a good thing because otherwise we would have absolutely no context for my catch up in this episode. So
actually, yes, that was.
Hey, see.
Yes,
just let me produce.
Messy producer. You should join The Bachelor or something.
Hey, I would do that.
No, he needs to join Love is Blind. That actually, they already get overpaid.
They already.
They already ruin people's lives. You heard about that lady that got with that homeless man? Anyway.
Homeless?
We'll leave that. Girl, I'll talk
I know
to you
there's abusers that are getting onto the show.
We should definitely do a show episode where we talk about reality TV show romantic stuff, just a catch up, like, of the TV shows we've been watching, okay?
I just started The Ultimatum.
Okay. So, yes, there'll be something for me to do, some more assignments. But no, I felt like it was a good episode. I obviously get in a mood when I talk about, like, holidays sometimes because family does mean a lot to me. And I do consider myself a very loyal person. So when I do talk about the times my loyalty has been, like, destroyed or my whole way of thinking and living has changed, I get kind of, like, disappointed in things. But I have to realize, like, the thing that I can really depend on in this life is me, like, being me and me showing up as Jackie, you know? We talked about this before, but no, I felt like it was a good episode. I enjoyed myself, and thank you for sharing your situation. I know we're gonna get into that a little bit more in your catch up, but yeah, I felt like it was a good episode.
Agreed. All right, well, let's catch him up, Jack. What's going on with you?
Well, y'all know. Well, we'll talk to you guys in like an episode or two, but we're preparing for a very major trip. I barely showed up to this recording today. I'm not gonna lie, because I have been working. I don't know why I set up my schedule like this. I didn't realize, like, when you work night shifts, your day off, you still work that day. So it's not technically a day, because if I go to sleep and wake up late, the day is over with. And then I have to go to work the next day. It sucks. I know it sounds weird, but if you work night shift, you just know. But anyway, y'all, I just had like 3 blood transfusions I had to do. If you know, that's a very technical, very, very, very technical procedure to do. If you mess up, you will kill somebody. So I had to make sure, hey, that this person was not going to die. But not only did I have 1 person that needed a blood transfusion, I had 2. So everybody was like, this is really hectic for a new grad. We kind of, I had literally the next day I came on and I had to do another blood transfusion. So in total, I had 4 bags to do. But they came back and apologized to me, and they said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That is so hectic for a new grad to do. I would have never assigned that to you if I knew that was going to happen. But we didn't know this person was going to need blood until literally the lab called us and say, hey, his hemoglobin is 5. Like, nurses know if hemoglobin is what the oxygen in your blood. And if it's below 7, you're going to heaven. Okay? He was a 5. So he should have died, but he didn't. So
bars. Hey, that was bars. Hey, that shit was bars. That shit was hard. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you learned something. I love to educate and teach. So yeah, it was a lot. Very tired, very exhausted. It was very high tense for me. So yeah, but you know what, y'all? As far as my personal life goes, I feel very close enough to start dating. I feel close enough. I feel I learned something online. You're never going to be 100% ready, and you're never going to be 100% healed until you start dating people. So 50% of your healing starts with yourself. And once you feel like you're at 50%, you can open up, and dating in itself is going to be a teaching experience. So, we'll see. I'm starting to feel a little, maybe I could like let somebody in. I still kind of want some time to myself though, because I really do like just being on my own and just not answering to nobody. But I also got to switch up the fact, like, why do I feel like I need to answer, quote unquote, to somebody? You should owe it to your partner. But the way I was going about it in my previous life was more of a control thing. So yeah, we're working on that. And I'm watching TV. So that's it. I just started watching Tell Me Lies, and that shit is very good. I relate to that Lucy character a lot, but now that I'm seeing a little bit of season 2, she is a terrible person. But She needs a lot of fucking therapy. I'm not too far deep, so don't spoil it for me, baby. Okay? I see your face, Erica. Don't spoil it for me just yet.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
But I will say that, you know, I love good white TV shows where they really get into like deep drama. Like I used to love One Tree Hill. That was my
my
shit.
little sister loved One Tree Hill, and let me tell you about that episode for prom. When I saw that episode, I think that's when I started watching. It's like, what is this?
I love a soap opera. Okay, a well-written soap opera. Y'all got it. Okay, and
I was scared.
Okay, but yeah, we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, that's my life right now. Just kind of like, being a tired person, but just trying to find my way and trying to find out what life is looking like with me. That's it.
Are you considering dating online or in person?
I am considering dating online. The only reason and why dating online is it's just overwhelming for me. Like when I get online and I restart my profile, I'll literally get like so many dings. Like I'll open it up and it'll be like 50 or plus people, and it's just I can't sift through them. I think I'm gonna actually purchase premium again to just kind of sift through people who actually like me. Just so I could sit and really process it. Yeah, overall, yeah, going online is overwhelming, but for the reason that it's just a lot of guys, and also they're not really looking for anything important. They're not really looking. They're not looking to like just talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're looking to fuck, but like, damn, here's a obvious fact. Like these people just want to fuck you. You don't particularly like. They don't fucking care about you. So I actually would respond to, I don't want to tell you guys if you run into my profile how to like get me, but if you write something back to me versus just giving me hard eyes, roses, and like just damn girl, or just like, like something,
substance,
give me something more and I'll respond to you. Those are the ones I respond to. So I'm not looking forward to all this stuff on Hinge. It was really overstimulating. That's my whole thing. But I think I'm going to curate it now where I'm going to be paying for it and get a more detailed experience. So that's it.
I just hear your sister in my ear like, pretty privilege, pretty privilege, pretty privilege.
she's so funny. But I mean, I guess you could say that, but you got to look at it on the other side too. Like, how does it feel to know that people don't really want more from you, or that's the only thing people have to say is that you're cute,
But also on the other side, what is it like to get literally no attention at all because people are very shallow?
But the people that say that, y'all, I hear more about, the positive aspects of your personality. And for me, that is what I actually like more,
Your personality doesn't work on dating apps as well as it works for me personally. Let me say me in person. Your personality in person is probably going to be helpful, I think. But like on a dating app, it's very instantaneous. Like, right? Like swipe, swipe. Like if I can't get my face pictured on your face instantly, then it's a swipe. And so you have a better shot in person. Personality is better in person. Okay. Looks are for what the foundation of the app is honestly based off of. Truly. That first picture.
I agree. I'm definitely in my 30s now, so that probably chop it down a little bit. So like I said, and we're gonna pay for it, so we'll see what my results look like. I'm a little anxious about it, so
don't be anxious. We could do it as a group activity if you'd like. I'm unemployed. So, I'm looking for more, what can we do inside that is still entertaining activities. So if you would like to, I'd be happy to review your profiles with you.
Yeah.
Make it more fun.
Okay. Appreciate that. I don't know if you saw my face just now, but I just got over it. I was just like, never mind.
You didn't seem like I made my suggestion made it any more fun. You were like, yeah, it just
sure, girl. It's just overwhelming, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just make the stankiest face. I just like.
I mean, I get the face. It's not because I'm overwhelmed when I get onto the app, you know, there's a handful of people in there, but it's like more so like, I just know it's not going anywhere. Most of y'all hoes are either not active in the app. So even if we match, it's like y'all don't respond. I never get any like thing back from y'all. It's just very like, who's gonna make the first move? And yeah, I feel like if we've matched, you should make the first move. Just like in public, if I dropped my little handkerchief, you should make the next move. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I will set you up for success, and you know you're being set up for success, so just run the play. And I can't get with nobody who ain't gonna continue running the play. Like, you already know you got to win and play. Like, you've already been set up. The layup is good. Shoot it.
I just think that I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the apps, but I know that I don't leave out my house anymore, so I gotta do something. So
yeah,
to be continued.
Okay. Well, a continuation from last episode is really what my catch-up is, because, you know, our good friend Hassan here got us in a whole situation because, you know, there's a character that has been discussed on the podcast in season 1 ample amount of times and has not yet been brought up in our season 2 podcast until Hassan wanted to bring him up last episode. I don't think he's really been brought up like that. I didn't bring...
I don't remember. Something tells me he has, but...
My bad, gang. I'm sorry.
I don't think we talked about him. But yes, Brokey. Yes, if you listened to last episode, you knew that I had a date or a weekend, whatever, planned with this man. And I would like to just let y'all know that ish did not happen, or it did not work out. Okay. My date was with Jacqueline. Thank you so much, Jackie. So long story, I'm going to try and summarize it. Okay. Cause we already played the suspect game. I don't know if that's making it into the podcast or where it was in our recording start time, but, I will try and make my catch up brief. And basically this man, I picked him up after work. I would like to let you know that while I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, this man called me over 25 times. I think that's what I was doing while you were wondering, what am I doing while I wasn't looking at the screen? I was like, let me actually go back and count how many phone calls I actually got from this man in the last 10 days. And I got about 24 phone calls that we had connected on. Okay. I don't talk on the phone like that, first and foremost. And the fact that you were calling me, even in the last episode, I think I mentioned that my mom even was like, oh, somebody misses you. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Anyway, yeah. So we were supposed to link up for Friday and picked him up after work, brought him home to my house. And basically he was just like gonna shower after his work day, got himself together. And yeah, I mean, we rolled up, we had our first little sexy time moment. This man decided he would like to say I love you for the second time, technically, because he said it at the top of no, I don't remember. He said it earlier when I met him. If for people who don't know and you're a new listener, Brokey is somebody that I met on Memorial Day weekend in 2023. So it's been about a year and a half that I've known this individual. And so he was saying it in 2023, but I think we've gone like all of 2024 without him bringing it up again. Anyway, brought it up randomly when I saw him on Friday. That was supposed to be our whole thing. I bring up the conversations because he's been talking about it. It's been real, like, we're going to see each other, we're going to hang out, it's going to be a great little old time. And yeah, something in me was like, are we going to make it through a weekend? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But here we are. I think I shared, he's employed, he's been working 3 weeks. I think I said that on the last episode. So he felt like he was like, let me take you to Joey's because you've held me down. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, basically, I ultimately think that the day went the way that it went because I did not return his I love you. I did not say I love you back. I'm more so just conveyed to him that I'm like somebody who I don't know if I recognize what it looks like. But I think when I said it to him, I mean, part of me was like, I think that I care for you. I care for you. Obviously, you're in my space. But like love, I think there's some things in here that I don't like about you, which did not get me to that place. Anyway, we went to the mall. We had some issues getting to the mall. There was some traffic. He was very animated about the traffic. I didn't appreciate how high stress he was. It wasn't calming me. I asked him to chill out. I don't think he liked that. We got to the mall. We had some tension in the mall. That wasn't great. We made it home. We were trying to make it work. Sure. The real issue is we got to Joey's. I love Joey's. I'm glad that we're going to Joey's. I'm trying to make it through. Okay. It's chilly now. It's December. Most places it's a little cold. Okay. So I'm wearing my cute little jacket. I'm holding it right around my little clavicle, chest area so I can close the jacket because I didn't zip it up. Okay. Whatever. I still want the outfit to peek through. I just wanted to not have my whole chest out. Have my bag in my hand. This man asked to hold my hand. I said I'm cold because I didn't want to let go of my coat and I had my purse in my other hand. I think he caught an attitude or a problem with that. All right, we make it into the restaurant. We check in. There's no place to sit. He says, you're going to sit on my lap. I said, I'm not going to sit on your lap is actually what's going to happen. He proceeds to sit down. Says, sit on my lap. And I was like, I said, I'm not going to do that. And he caught a whole attitude. The girls next to me were trying to scoot over to give me a little seat. So I sat a little bit. And basically, he was trying to ice me out. But I was like, should we just go home if this isn't going to be like a good situation? Like maybe we should just like leave. Hello, I'm talking to you. Not responsive. Hello. And he finally engages with me. But when he engages, it is very intense. We have the whole waiting area looking. Okay. They're all like, what on earth is happening over in that area? Because we are in full voice speaking to each other in a public place, which is not cute. It's not cute. It was not cute. I asked for my keys because I was like, we should just separate. We should just leave. He didn't want to leave. I said, I will go. He didn't want to let me go because he clearly didn't give me my keys. I step outside. I go to my car. I'm waiting at my car 10 or 15 minutes, calling him, texting him to meet me out with my keys at my vehicle. And he is ignoring me, which requires me to return to the restaurant. I asked to see where he's seated. They said he sat himself at the bar. I go to the bar and he says, well, we acknowledge each other. I greet him. How are you doing? He's maybe trying to make this into a cute little thing because he's like, oh, what's your name? And I was like, what we're not going to do is pretend like we don't know each other and do some kind of role play because you acted up already. It's crazy. But I say that to him and now he's trying to ice me out. And I'm like, so we're not going to engage. So we're probably not going to have a meal. So can I have my keys? No. Do you want me to sit next to you? Do you want me around? No, I don't want you here. I don't want you around. Okay. Well, can I have my keys? No. You were lazy and didn't want to drive yourself. So I have them. And it's dependent on me now. That seems psychotic. So what am I going to do here? I'm assessing my decisions. I say, do I order a drink? When the bartender comes up and asks me for a drink, she's like, how can I help you? And I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I kind of do want you to pay for this meal. But I'm also just like, I kind of don't want you to play me. And I feel like you're playing me. And that won out. And I did something that I did not want to do. And I told this bartender and I said, actually, I'm not doing so well. I'm not doing well actually at all. And he has my keys and I would like them back. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to separate from him, but he has my keys and I need them to leave. Like my house keys are on there. It has my car keys. She looks at him. Do you have her keys? I don't have her keys. I don't even know who this is. You saw me come up here by myself. Gaslighting. You don't know who I am? You telling this woman you don't You don't know who I am? Well, she's saying that you have her keys. You don't need to get involved. He goes off on the bartender. She's like, you don't need to be talking to me like that. And she makes her swift exit. He's looking at me like, why you want to get this white bee involved? And I'm like, I didn't. I just wanted my keys. I actually want to have a good time, but I don't even understand what's happening right now. Honestly, truly. She comes back. Security's there. A manager's there. They're asking what's happening. He's denying that he knows me, denying that he has my keys, which is crazy. It's crazy. He's speaking in full volume. The whole restaurant is looking. I'm like, tears coming down my left cheek. And I'm just like, I just want my keys. I just want to go because who wants to be in these vibes? Not me. He eventually acknowledges that he knows me because he was really trying to play. He was like, we didn't come here together. We didn't show up together. You saw me sit over here by myself. She didn't sit with me. He eventually, acknowledges we know each other, that he has my keys. He says, I'm not giving them to her, though, but I will give them to you, Mr. Security Guard. Security Guard gets the keys, gives them to me, and also says that he's required to evacuate the vicinity. He cannot be on the premises. He says, who's buying this drink that I ordered? Make sure you put it on her tab. And I'm just like, you really trying to just go out with a bang, sir. You're really trying to go out with a bang, 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 bang. You really trying it. And so I got my keys, and as soon as I got them, I ran off to the bathroom because I'm crying in a public place. Looking super cute. Crying. In one of my favorite places. I love Joey's.
Yeah. Okay. That's not the place you want to associate with poor memories. But it's just gonna be like one of those places like on Friends, like that place you always just go to. You have good and bad memories.
Yeah, so I went to the bathroom.
Honey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom and I called you. Mostly because I was doing my whole assessment on my life and I was just like, okay, let's think about what our options are. You have your keys. You have what you need. What are you going to do now? So, pull yourself together. I'm in the bathroom though, and I'm just like, wow, I'm my mother. So if you haven't listened to Mama's Lessons, you should go listen to it. Enjoy. And I'm like, oh my God, a verbally abusive situation. This is so beautifully perfect. Spot on, twin. And then I was thinking to myself, well, you have some of his items still. So like, what are you going to do with the rest of your evening? Like at some point you're going to have to see him. Like, what does all of that look like? And do you feel comfortable? And do you feel safe? Not in the way that he was behaving, not with his actions, not how angry he got, not that he let it get to that situation where I needed to tell on him to get my items back. So I was like, well, I'm going to definitely let some time pass for sure, because I don't know what he's doing or how he's feeling. So I was like, well, we'll have a drink at the bar, because what you're not going to feel is shame. You're not going to feel embarrassed. You can have a drink at the bar. You have not been removed from the vicinity. Plus, there was kind of that cute guy I told you about who was like, he did interject for a second. It was like, hey, calm down, man, calm down. So, I thought I was going to talk to him. I didn't, because when I came back to my seat, there was a whole other girl sitting right next to him. So it was over with. And also not my most attractive moment, like, I don't know if I was a man or if I was anybody and I saw that and I'd be like, that's my next boo. That's crazy.
I'm a saver.
Right. But
I just pinned you to my screen up actually, because I hate, looking down at you, because I feel like I'm looking down and I feel like I got you right here. Sorry. I
didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah.
Good.
This is going to help me out so much. Yes.
Keep me in the square. Okay.
Yeah. Keep my head straight.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, no, I went out, I called you. I was like, I'm going to come over because I also I need to waste some more, not waste, because, I also appreciated your companionship and company, and I also needed a space to be. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to come over. Thanks. You okay? You alive? So yes, I do appreciate that I had you to rely on and to go to, and to just like, it wasn't like I was getting my mind off of it, because I definitely like told you about the story, but like just to be and exist. So thank you for holding space and having me. And yeah, after that, he was texting me at your place, like, come and get me at like 12:45. But I didn't leave in your spot till what, almost 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I did get him from Joey's. He had his stuff in my trunk, and I was like, I thought you would be back in Katy, because I chatted. I was like, I thought you would not be around, but you're at Joey's? I need my stuff. Okay. Well, come and get your stuff so we can wrap it up. So I got him. We were silent in the car. I told him when we got here, you could wait outside. He was like, there's so much stuff in there, I gotta grab it. I didn't know he made himself comfortable when he first got in, because he had things like in the dryer. He was getting things from everywhere.
He was trying to be for the weekend, okay?
It was supposed to be for the weekend. We didn't even make it like 6 hours, okay? But yeah, so he got him his stuff, and I asked him before he was leaving, I was like, do you have anything to say? And he was just like, nope. You don't want to hear what I gotta say, because it would not be kind. You don't want to hear. It would probably, if I was to sum it up, it'd be 2 words. And I'm like, what are those 2 words?
I don't want to know. Because then you would know.
And yeah, I could hear him banging his stuff all the way down all these flights of stairs. I heard his exit nice and loud. And the next morning, I was around, obviously, and I looked at my plant, Foxy, in the corner, and he broke a leaf off of my fox. My plant, yeah. I'm like, dang, she's amputated. And he just dropped the leaf over there. So yeah, that's that. That's the story. You know, we went Saturday without him, you know, a little emotional. That's fine, because that's what it is. I did talk to my mother, and so she's aware, because, you know, we had to chat, and nothing really, you know, earth shattering from that conversation. I was just like, I did tell her, I was like, is he, drop her man's name in, and she was just like, I was like, yeah, well, I'm saying it's over. It's a wrap. I don't want people to talk to me like that. I think the way he was talking to other people is crazy. Like, the whole situation is crazy. Yeah, so we had a nice little chat. And then I think from there, it was very much like, okay, so what are the benefits that he brings into your life? Like, why are you keeping him around? What are the cons? You've been compartmentalizing, but now you really need to look at, like, what are the benefits? Why did you keep him around, even ultimately knowing it's a no? And just thinking about, like, what needs or what he's actually needing, and how I can make those needs met in a different way. Like, one of the things being physical touch. I love some physical touch. Y'all know. I be trying to touch you, but you don't allow me as often. And so I'm like, I require that. It's something that I've definitely gone my entire life without. My family's not touchy. They actually rejected my hugs, and like, it's just not that way. My mom, on the other hand, I think, you know, she is, but I didn't grow up with her. And so how do I get this physical touch, and like, why do I want it? I'm like, you know, like, what are we doing? And so I think that, like, you know, we can get that in a different capacity in regards to, like, I just had a massage today. Phenomenal. It was amazing. And I felt so great. And I'm like, honestly, a massage is $60, not including the tip if I go on a weekday. I know good and well I was spending $60 to have us have an experience. So I could spend that ish on myself and get 2 massages a month if that's what I need to do to meet a need that somebody else was meeting that doesn't need to be around. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, just thinking about, like, the patterns that exist in my life, and like really like having to get to a place where it's like, oh, here's the decision, duh, you stupid hoe, versus like making that decision on my own earlier. And like, why does that seem to be a pattern that is so present in my life? And like trying to think through that. It's obviously because I crave love and being desired, or intimacy, or being seen in whatever capacity. And you know, if someone is meeting some of those needs, I'll keep it around because I haven't had any. So I'll take a little crumb. I love a little crumb. Okay. And I need to get to a place where I'm okay with not accepting crumbs and putting some of that desire and like what I need from like other spaces and other community members. So yes, that's what I have to say about like everything that has happened to me. Thank you.
Well, I hope that you don't mind me, but I was writing down some notes because I'm like, oh, I don't want to interrupt you. I really want you to like say what you have to say. And then, you know, obviously I can't control my faces. So like, this isn't the first time I heard the story, but at the same time, like you also threw in some little details that I didn't like get. And I'm like, he broke Foxy, the plant that you have been nurturing and caring for this whole time, that has flourished in your presence, and he
talks to. He'd be if he was to see her, he'd be like, "Hey, Fox! I mean, look at Fox. She has so many leaves." He knew exactly
what he was doing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm aware.
So it breaks my heart to see you. First off, we say this all the time. I just want you to just try, just even if you just have a little bit of delusion, just believe this about what we feel about you. You are an awesome person. You are the shit. And my thing is, the way you carry yourself with your friends, you need to carry yourself with these men, unfortunately, because I couldn't see you, anybody else talking to you like this. If I talked to you like this, we wouldn't be talking to each other. So because they offer you a physical service, you allow this type of behavior. And you know me, how I feel about physical touch. It's a bad thing sometimes. Like, I don't have that particular, like, I do know I'm touch deprived, and it's for like personal reasons. Like, I just feel like when people want to touch me, it's not for good reasons. I don't think it's coming from a genuine place. So I'm very like, back your ass up type of person. But I digress. That's my own personal thing. That for you means something. It means you care about me, you want to connect. And that's what it actually is. You know, that's what physical connection should be about. But I don't think that should excuse how anybody treats you. That nigga acted a whole ass. He showed his ass. And the thing is, what I can't stand about certain guys is I just don't like a man that doesn't know how to manage their emotions. You can already tell through this that he was probably dealing with a lot of anxiety because, one, he's finally paying for a fucking real ass fucking date. Finally dealing with a job he can actually afford to take you on this date. Quote unquote lying to other people to take you on this date, you know? And now we're here at the date. You can't control your emotions. And now you feel like, in his way, he's like, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. I need to express, or, you know, I need to exert some form of control over this feeling that I'm feeling. And when, you know, say it was too much, or if it really was uncalled for, if it was just out of nowhere, you know, and it's not reciprocated in the way that he was anticipating, he feels like he could take it all out on you. And that's not fair. He doesn't know how to manage his emotions. I already knew that from when he was arguing with your cousin. I was just like, who the fuck? Like, first off, dude, you just met her, you know? And you're in my friend's house cussing out her cousin. But my thing is, you feel so fucking comfortable fucking cursing out some fucking woman. That lets me know you ain't never got your ass beat. So, and the thing is, I'm not the only person that has said this. He ain't never got his ass beat. Because he's been in situations where he is coddled for some reason by, I don't know, maybe the women in his life or just the people in his life have given him so much excuse. But he does not have an excuse to be in this world, to be as old as you are, don't know how to manage your emotions and hold down things to the point where you can hold on to responsibilities and really come up and show and show up, do the job, and, get your things. You can't do that. And now he's taking it out on somebody who obviously is in a position where you're very vulnerable and very open in this, to where you are unfortunately accepting this behavior just so you can get a little peace. Like, it hurts. It honestly, it makes me, it boils my blood. It hurts my feelings, because please don't take the fact that even if I didn't look like this, Erica, I still wouldn't be going for shit like that at the end of the day. I'm not going for none of that. Like, I don't. We are going to talk about a little bit more about this in our parents episodes, but there's just going to be some behavior that unfortunately I have allowed in my life, but there's certain things that I've realized, like, I cannot deal with a guy who can't manage their emotions. Because at the end of the day, if I can manage mine to a certain extent, I expect you to do the same. Mm-hmm. Because that nigga wants to be a whole asshole. So that's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely there's some hurt and some trauma that I think that he needs to work through and resolve. And like, why is he behaving this way? At least when he flipped out kind of like the first time, he at least acknowledged that, like, oh, you called me Brokey and I was taking it out on, you, because I didn't feel good about that. Obviously it's true. And, I felt a way. So I was talking to you in a way that you didn't need to be talked to, because of, knowing that you see me how I don't want you to see me, or how, like, I don't want to be seen, or just this whole life that I'm in. So like, I could see that. And I just was like, yeah, I obviously slipped, and I didn't want you to know that I called you Brokey, but yeah, you be broke. What we gonna do about that? So I mean, at least like, so, and I know that there's, again, that's why I was bringing up, like, oh, you brought up the fact that you love me. Is it because I didn't return it to you? Or are you feeling a type of way about all of that? I don't know. Who knows? I don't. Is it because I was kind of rejecting you all day in regards to, like, not holding your hand, or telling you, like, I want you to behave differently in the car, like I just wanted some peace or whatever? Or like, there were other things that I'm like, that built up to this explosion, but none of that was worth the reaction on his end that ended up playing out. Like, I don't know. I'm like, just give me my keys and we could separate. Like, the fact that you were holding them and gaslighting me is really what's quite crazy, that you couldn't just be like, you right, we not seeing eye to eye. You want to go, or maybe we should just go home and we'll be just mad at each other and we'll see how it plays out after that. But to your point of, like, I am a very different person in my platonic relationships than in my romantic relationships. And I've been also trying to understand, like, why is that a thing? Why does that exist? And I think that, like, obviously I don't have strong relationships with, like, the first women in my life, being like my mom and my stepmom. Like, those aren't the best relationships. And I think that it is easier for me to be like, la, 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 I'm going to cut all these hoes off, women specifically, like, because there is clear dissatisfaction in my relationships with my, like, mothers. And then I think about, like, okay, so why do I take it easier on my fathers? I've been taking it easy on my fathers, on my men. I've been taking it easy on my father, right? Like, I always felt like I need somebody who's going to care about me, because it's clearly not this hoe that isn't around, and it's clearly not this hoe that is around and acts like she don't want me around. So the one that's here is my father. Now, is he showing up in the way that I need him to? No. And so is that replaying itself in all of my other romantic relationships, of these men not showing up and then me just trying to be like, you see me, dad? You see me? You see me? You see me? Probably. But we are now aware, right? We are now aware, and it's a matter of aligning that awareness into your actual behaviors and your actions and, like, the follow through. It's like, okay, cool. Now we are aware. And, I'm very hopeful that we won't have any more of these dramatic situations playing out, or that I will be able to recognize that this could be a potential pattern and like cut that ish off. But like, yeah, that's a whole part of this whole entire episode really is like the impact that our parents have on who we are today as people. Are we ready to get into the main topic?
Before we do, I just want to say that, at the end of the day, I am so sorry you had that horrible experience, and I'm here for you anytime you need it. I was thinking about when we walked away, I was just like, was I too harsh when I was talking to her? Like when I was when you were in my living room and I was just like, Erica, you come from a certain place in life. You don't play down here. This ain't for you to play with. This is dirt. Okay? When you play in dirt, you get dirty. And you'll never be able to wipe it off you,
Just stuck under your fingernails.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that the way you carry yourself, the way you have standards for yourself on an everyday basis, okay, you're not perfect, but you do carry yourself in a way that deserves to be respected. When someone walks into your home, they don't need to be touching your things. They don't need to be all up in your shit. Like, I just want you to know that when I'm being harsh on you and I really like, my passion is behind this is because I really do see that in you,
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to take that time to see that in yourself. I do want to be more emotionally like attuned as a person, but obviously, the way my zodiac is set up, it don't always come off that way. But just know, like, I really genuinely want the best for you, and I just want you to know that you deserve all your things. Okay.
Thank you. I don't think that I think that you were harsh, honestly. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about how you were with me. I really appreciate it. If anything else, I thought about texting you like the next day and being like, thanks, Jack. I really appreciate you for whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just didn't. But I do. I appreciate having you to go to when I need you. So, I appreciate that. I don't think that you were too harsh on me. But, I am a sensitive soul, so I could see where you were coming from. But no, I think you were good. I think you were good. Anyway.
Okay, this the episode. Look. Fucking dead. But
she said, and the lessons we learned from parents to be continued. Okay.
Look, actually, I don't know. Let's I think we could do this. We could do it. We could do it. Producer, how you feeling?
My bad, I was on mute. I'm sorry. But no, I also want to say that with me hearing this story, I want to glad to see that you're okay. It didn't get too crazy.
Could have died.
I was scared. I was very scared for you. I actually didn't want you to leave at a point.
I thought about not, to be honest. Like, I really was like, how mad is he? Like, that's what I was thinking about, because this is crazy.
I know. It's like, I have dated this type of guy before. Like, he's I don't want to say his name, but my last boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he literally acts like that, like when things are out of control.
Restraining orders.
Oh, no, that's my the previous one. That's the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
The one that showed up to Vegas with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one who I'm talking about, and showed his whole asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we ain't doing that no more.
Yeah, that's the point.
But yeah, I'm glad that you're okay, and that it turned out the best way it could have, because it's been stories where it could have ended bad, especially you were saying like y'all went back to y'all crib. I was just like, oh shit, like,
yeah, girl, yeah.
I thought it. I did. I was like, we could die. That's why I didn't want him to come inside. Like, I was.
We could die.
We could die.
You said not just me. You died too, my nigga.
No,
okay.
No.
That's how I took it too. I thought you was like, yeah, we could die if you want to.
I meant we, like me, myself, and I. Like, we would be dying. Yeah, me, myself, and I. We would be dying. Okay. Yeah, 3 a.m. Because I envisioned him being like, if he didn't go home to Katie, the Galleria, there's bars aplenty, like restaurants that you could get yourself seated into. He could have went right across the street to Moxie. I don't know what he could have done, but he could have got himself to another location, been really drinking it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I originally thought. And then he'd like stumble to my house and be like, where you at? Where you at? You know? That's why I was like, maybe I should just stay with Jack in case any of that ish would take place. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what made me make that decision. I didn't think he was going to kill me, or at least I was just like hopeful that he wouldn't kill me. But yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't want him to come inside. I was like, I'll get all your things. But I really would have left a lot of things because I didn't know that he was even washing clothes, to be honest. So he must have started that ish when I got in the shower. So.
But yeah, you know, again, glad to see you're okay. Hopefully you're doing okay. You're doing well. Sorry you had to experience that. You know, hopefully this is the last story. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, how about this? I don't know. We don't know.
And I mean, there might be something for me to say about him, but in regards to us having a relationship or whatever, like, no, like, to me, it would be like, oh, guess what? He popped back up or he came back around, blah, 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 blah. And it was, you are crazy. I'm hoping that you're getting help. You know, like that would be in this light.
Yeah, he does need to get help, but also you are not the person that should be.
No. I'm not saying that I'm going to give him help. I'm saying that like he comes back and it's very much so like oh no, like that was that. What you think that we need to try and have a redo of that situation? Like that's a lot to have happened. And, you know, one of the questions that I've asked my mom, I'm like, do you get turned on by this? Do you get turned on by that? Like, that is not, to me, this is not, one of the things that I enjoyed about having intimate relations with him was that I did feel safe. Like, I didn't have, obviously there was a moment in time where I was like, oh my God, your baby mama knows where I live. But outside of that moment, like, I don't think that I ever looked at him and was like, this is crazy. I know you got crazy things going on with your life and you probably need a little help, but we all do. But like, just your life isn't together mostly. But other than that, I was like, I feel safe with this individual. I no longer feel safe. And that's like a very important feeling, I think, to have with anybody. And yes. I don't think that is something that just like is going to come back because he hits me up in January, you know, like,
it takes someone, take it from me, it takes several tries to get it right.
But we've been trying, me personally, because I have looked at him like, no, this is a no.
Several tries to leave, not several tries to work it out.
I'm not trying to work it out, but okay, I will receive this information and I will allow myself grace, but I don't know if I don't know if I need it. Now, 3 years from now, he comes back. Listen, how much work have you done? But like next year, it's a no. You need help.
I think, you know, he just needs to, I hate the word, you know, people have drove this word down to the ground, accountability, but he really has to take accountability for his emotions and his actions. He could have just explained to you what he was coming from and how he was feeling that day. And in turn, you would have done the responsible thing and just, you know, like, hey, affirmed him and, you know, let him know, hey, it's okay. Versus him kind of letting it fester in a way where, you know, he's treating you poorly. So, you know, he does have a lot of personal work to do. And, you know, hopefully if he's still gainfully employed during, you know, who knows, girl? For me, it's a wash for me. Don't like it for you. But if there's something that does change and occur, I guess I'll just be at y'all situation, smiling like, hey, eating y'all food. Hey, guys. You know, people see, are at their wedding or their baby shower with the person that they's like, ugh. But I'm going to be here. I'm going to support you. Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I'll just be real and be like, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah, please. I appreciate that. Thanks. The latter, please. Because absolutely not. This is a crazy situation. Absolutely not.
Also, you got to think about this too. If you're going through this, what is baby mama going through?
She liked that shit. That's exact. And my thing is, this is the behavior that he is used to. This is what he knows. Again,
it's worked from him, clearly.
Playing down here, the ground, the bottom, okay? Low level behavior.
No, it's clearly worked for him to be 40 and to have gotten where he is, which is nowhere. It has worked for him, in various situations. You are going to either do the behaviors that are working for you or do the behaviors that you're comfortable with. And so in some facet, it's either worked or he's comfortable with it. And you have many more years on me. Not like, it's not crazy, but you have enough years on me, or this should not be anything that we should not. This is not a bickering situation. This is not like a relationship. It's not a relationship, but this is not like this too shall pass. Like, this is a crazy situation that is not to be duplicated, like replicated. Like, we are not going to get into this ish. We can't revisit this. You ruined it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as I'm like, oh yeah, like him and my cousin got into a thing where he was raising his voice. I don't think, again, I'm trying to recall the situation. I don't think he was like yelling, but he was doing a lot that was unnecessary.
It was enough for her to be like, fuck that nigga, for real.
It was enough for her to be like, why are you speaking to me like this? And yeah, I was like, you ain't got to do all that. Absolutely. 1,000%. And for that
too. I was very uncomfortable when I was like,
You were hearing this story, right? Because you were.
I was there too. Well, I was also there when they was going. I don't know what else they had going on. There's already tension, but they was already doing some shit back at the house. Or actually, you know what? She telling me what happened at the house.
I was going to say, we were back at the house, and she was recalling our time. Because it happened at Wooster's Garden. And I
haven't been there in a while.
Oh. Sorry. Yeah, I went with that coworker in that story. So I mean, even when that conversation was happening, like, again, there are plenty of flags or plenty of things that I've even vocalized. I'm like, nope, that's a no. But this, again, a part of my patterns of, you can see all these little no's that are building up, and you got a whole little pile of no's, and yet you need this ginormous heck nah before you actually decide to potentially change your behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does it take you getting all the way to this point? So, Maria, where are you? I know we missed our Monday at 4 p.m. because they don't exist anymore.
I know. I guess that's part of my catch up too. It's time for me to get back into therapy. But shoot.
Everybody.
We're just being extra.
Honestly, so now we're going to get into the main topic of the episode, and it's kind of, it relates to our catch-ups, especially Erica's, but how our parents show up in our lives, like as people, and, how it shows up for us, in our daily to day, livelihoods and values and all that good stuff. Take it away, Erica.
Oh, yes. Okay, so one of the first questions. Oh, hold on. I was getting a notice that was like, y'all still recording?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so the first question that I have is, what ways do you see your parents' behaviors, habits, or values showing up in your own life? Are there specific traits that you've inherited from your parents that you're proud of? And what traits exist that you're struggling with?
Okay. So as far as value, I think showing up is one of the things that I was taught, and the value that I have ingrained in myself. Now it gets to the point where it could fall into the struggle side, because showing up for others also means sometimes not showing up for myself. And I need to prioritize that a little bit more. But one of the things people can say about me is that I'm very reliable as far as like showing up and being there, you know, like, that's hard for a lot of people to say and do for themselves. And then, I do that because my dad did that no matter what. Now he was a more prompt person, very punctual person. But if I told him anything or if I needed something, he was showing up. He was that dad to show up for your athletic things, for your academic things. He was at all my assemblies. He was chaperone for a dance. Like, he's also, I didn't expect him to show up there, but he was that dad, that parent, that no matter what, he was going to be there, show up in any form of capacity that he could. And that was something I relied in and also genuinely believed in. And so I try to do that for myself and for my people. Well, not for myself all the time, but for the people in my life, and I think that's important. And also, I guess just showing just genuine love, like to be in my circle means to be cared for in a way that you may not be used to on an everyday basis. Because I know that, I don't really show up like as emotionally sound as I could, but I definitely, want to be that presence in people's lives. And that's something that I was taught. Now, as far as something I struggle with, I'm not the most organized person. My parents weren't organized people. I'm learning how to be more like clean and organized. It just wasn't something that I grew up with because both my parents worked at a point in time. And it was just like, wasn't really ingrained in me too much. And I also have a really mean lazy streak. I don't like to work out. And I picked up a lot of unhealthy habits from them. I am a foodie. I like to lay around and just do nothing all day. And I see that from my dad. Self-indulgence, that's a real thing. My dad will literally self-indulge. My mom, she doesn't really self-indulge, but she will ignore a lot of shit. So that's just one thing I will say. We can start there. How's that?
I think that was great. What habits, behaviors, traits do I feel like I have that I'm proud of? It's like I'm proud, but I'm also like, annoyed. I think that like, both my dad and my like stepmom are very like mindful individuals, at least when it comes to like just your presence in other people. Like, just be mindful of other people, like be respectful, don't be a nuisance. Like, I don't know what to call all of that, but they highly were like, you're not going to be no bad kid. You're not going to be like this person that doesn't consider other people in this space. Like, you know how to be in front of other people. And I think that like, I appreciate that. I like that I can like show up in a space and I'm not going to be an inconsiderate person. I'm very considerate of other people that I'm sharing space with. But almost to a little like detriment, a little bit. They're a little, I'm like, but okay, we're starting proud. My mind, it always wants to go to the bad. Positive. What else? I'm like, I think my dad had a lot of like discipline. He was very much so like about his business and making sure that like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And like, you got to show up and like, discipline, dedication, like all that. Been at employment for like decades. Like, he's very much so like a little rigid, which gets into the negative because, I can't stay on a positive to save my life. My mom is very like social and outgoing, and I feel like I've picked up some of the things from like her side on that, and I appreciate that like she's just like a vibe, and I feel like I could be a vibe. sometimes.
I agree. Yeah. You be with it. I do stuff and you just be like, oh, I'm here. Okay.
Sometimes, yes. Because then that takes me exactly to the opposite side of the spectrum where my dad is very much so like an introvert. Like he doesn't have a lot of friends. He's very to himself, like very routine, very creature of habit, very like, again, rigid. And so I think that a lot of those traits I've also picked up. So it's like on one end of the spectrum, like you get this social part of me. On the other end of the spectrum, you get this like rigid, controlling, like, I don't know, just all those things I feel like are things that I have gotten from the other side of the family. Anal, controlling, those are some things that I struggle with that are very like, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. This is how I want it. Very like, and so I pick up on a lot of that. Shame is a great way to like get people to do things for you as an adult to a parent or to a child. So I feel like my stepmom is, a shamer. And so I feel like that is a trait that I have definitely picked up. I'll be like, why would you I don't want to shame people. But I feel like it's very natural for me to be like, ew, why are you doing it that way? Why would you do that? And I don't like that. But that is a very natural way for me to look at the world. And I don't want to hold on to that.
That's so crazy that you say that, because it's like that you naturally shame. And I'm like, maybe that is a thing that I feel like is like a little contentious between us, because I deal with a lot of shame personally because of how I kind of grew up, and knowing that it's a little different. It's not always the best thing to grow up like not having everything, and then also not presenting yourself in the best way. I had to learn how to groom myself, clean, do all this stuff from like literally everybody else and not my parents, because they just didn't have the time for it. And I kind of dealt with a lot of shame with that. And then when when it's brought up or something, as someone that deals with shame, it kind of triggers you in a way. So, but I feel like when my defenses are straight and narrow, and I know how to like deal with reality, I know like this is supposed to help me. Like, you can take it and do better, or you can just be rebellious and say fuck it and do even more and worse. That's weird. I really got to figure that out. That's something me and my therapist got to work on. Is how I deal with shame. I'll say though, going with your mom, like she's such a vibe. I love that. I think with my mom, because I love my mom, I really do. One of the things, I keep saying that, this sounds like I don't, but like it's just because I love her. It's just that like I be trying to figure out like, why do I have these moments where I'm just so like sad and angry with her, because I just be wanting, like, I wish you would have showed up and like being an enforcer, versus just cool and chill all the time, but I had to also realize where she came from, and she's kind of like, you know what, you kids could be a lot worse, so you're actually not bad people, so you can just get away with murder. But I would say, like, for my mom, that I think is really cool to her, it's like she's like one of the guys, honestly. And I feel like I kind of pick up on that sometimes too, because I can be one of the guys. Like, I really can. I'm a girl, but at the same time, like, I can act like a real nigga sometimes. So.
Ooh, I'm glad you said it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Because he knows. Even Imani pointed it out. She's like, there's certain things you just really like.
That's why my ex was really into you, okay?
That nigga weird. Anyway. Let's not talk about him.
Crazy. Okay. Do you notice any patterns in your friendships or romantic relationships that remind you of your parents' behavior? Have you ever caught yourself reacting in a way that made you think, wow, I'm just like my mom or my dad? And what was that moment like? I mean, obviously in the story I literally just told, I was like, wow, am I my mother? Yeah, we're just gonna be involved with people who don't know how to treat you, and that's an absolutely not. That's an absolutely not. But when you think about like generational trauma and things like that, like I'm like, oh, okay, well, it seems like a natural thing to fall into these situations, but now you have to really like put that in the forefront of your mind to be like, no, you have a tendency to go this way, so just pay attention to that ish so that you don't go that way. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I just told the story of what that moment was like. I am a lot like my dad at the same time in regards to just like I don't have words. I need to read more books so I can have a better vocabulary. But yeah, I am like my dad in regards to his like, yeah, he's just very like routine, like very like I'm like a little rigid, He likes what he likes. He's familiar with what he's familiar with. And, you know, when I'm out of my routine, I'm like, oh, I get frustrated. And I know that that is something that's like applies to him. Like he'll really get frustrated when something is like throwing him off, like why are we not on time? What is happening? Like blah, 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 blah. And he'll be very frustrated. So I know that like I have a lot of those moments. Yeah, I'm like trying to be such a control freak. I'm like, wow, this is very much so like giving my father, very much so. But I don't necessarily, I think it's a really great balance. I think I have a lot of characteristics within me that I'm like, these are great. You just can't be fully on one side or fully on the other side. Like, continue to try and be a blend of these individuals. Because I think that's what is going to make it work, like just the blending of these different situations that I don't know, require one or the other. Whatever words.
No, I mean, like, I have to, you incorporate your stepmom with things as well. And I have to incorporate my grandma because she had a very big hand in raising me. Also, she probably was the first person to perpetuate hella shame onto me, because I'm like, well, baby, you raised this man. Okay. But she already said from the beginning, like, I don't know who child that was. Okay. But she's threatened to kick him out many times when he was growing up because he kept his room junky, and that's just, she would always be like, you just like your parents, And I'm like, leave me alone. Like, in my house, when we close the door, we could just be, but that's still not what I want to do at the end of the day, like, literally knowing that, okay, if I can't find my things and I'm never on time because I'm not organized, that makes me upset. Now, I've been working on it, but it's just, oh God, it's just so exhausting. Okay. If I had disposable money, like, I would love to have an organizer. I would love to have a manager, like just someone to just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Come on, let's go, And I'm like, okay, cool. Just direct me, okay? Because we got to organize. I got so much potential here. I just need you to organize it, okay? Yeah, like, I don't know. Where was I going with this? The question was, what was that question?
Do you notice any patterns in your friendships or romantic relationships that remind you of your parents' behavior? Have you ever caught yourself reacting in a way that made you think, wow, I'm just like them?
Yeah. Like, ooh, gosh, it's so deep and layered. Okay, we'll just talk about romantic relationships. Now, my mom has a tendency to be going for these types of dudes, these like, I don't know. I talk about my mom's boyfriend and how he's very similar to my dad as far as like, he's so obsessed with her. He loves her dirty draws. But at the same time, it's just like, can you treat her decently? Can you show up? Like, why does she have to do all of the work, the leg work, And I feel like that's what happened in a lot of my relationships. Like, I would be with guys that really wanted to be with me, but just at the end of the day, you're not showing up and doing your part. Like, what is that? you know? Shit, I felt the most like my mom when I was with damn, I can't say his name.
Yeah, we need to go through a list of like, who are these hoes?
God. Okay, so the guy who I've known since I was 14. So he reminds me the most of my dad, and I felt like the one that's still friends with our friend.
Thank you.
Yes, there we go. Yes. Dang, I can't. It's like, did I ever say his name?
It's funny because
here?
it's like your nickname is your nickname. You know what I'm saying? Like your name is your nickname.
Yes,
so like,
I hate
what
that
else do
so
we
fucking
have to
bad.
do?
Okay,
we need another nickname.
The one from Dallas. Okay, so yeah, the one that moved from Dallas down here. Yeah, I felt like that was the most similar to I'm my mom and he's my dad. And I felt the most comfortable because that's what it reflected. But I do know that if I were to continue down that pattern, I was going to just be taking care of him because he doesn't take care of himself. And, you know, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. I foresaw my future. Like, it was not going to be well. I was going to have a great time. We were going to enjoy ourselves. Like, this is going to be, you know, very homey, very comfortable, very homey. You know, we are very like similar, you know, but at the same time, I knew what was waiting at the end for me. And that was me being more so a bedside nurse and not being very fulfilled in certain places. And, you know, I hope for all the best with him. But I knew I didn't want to go down that path. That was it. Mm-hmm. That's all. Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't either.
We are.
I hate you. Oh my gosh. Well, at least you see, at least you know, you got the full story now.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
When y'all were together.
Yeah, he actually got to meet him, and he was just like, I could see why y'all were kind of like a thing, because y'all kind of the same.
That's great.
And Arlene says the same thing too. And trust me, I do miss him, but there's a reason we should be separated. So,
okay. All right. A few more questions. I think we kind of talked about the lessons, but it says, are there lessons or behaviors from your parents that you've consciously tried to unlearn, and how has that process gone?
I already talked about it. So,
okay. Do you think your parents' parenting style was a reflection of how they were raised, and how far back do you think that these patterns go? So my mom, I don't know if she even told the story on her episode, but she's been telling, you know, it's been coming up a lot more about, you know, her father being physically abusive to her and, you know, her siblings, her sisters. Oh my God. She was telling me about how her father set their apartment on fire with them inside.
So that would have been see, we did not have enough time for that episode, and I really wanted to get real
and it was
deep.
One of our shorter episodes too, because it was 47 minutes, but we were in a studio and we had to literally go.
It was so good. Oh, I really want to dig into that bag, but go
yes,
ahead.
like this is what generational trauma is, and why she's like, everything else is okay because you didn't literally try to set me on fire in my home. Like, literally everything else is fine because that's what the person who should love me literally did. And, like, you yelling at me crazy is really fine because you didn't try to set me on fire in my home. So, like, yes. Yeah, I mean, that is something that my mom has, you know, again, recently been telling me about. And so when we're thinking about, like, how far does this go back? Like, it goes back generations. I don't know if you've ever seen Gwyneth Paltrow's show on Netflix. It's like, I think it came out during the pandemic or 2019
Goop?
or something. Goop. Mm-hmm. There was an episode in that Netflix series where one of them was focused on like trauma, because it was talking about like sexual trauma and like things like that. And so it was talking about like trauma. And so it literally was like these people who are on Goop went to like a reenactment of like somebody's like family history. And it was like, you saw like, you know, this grandmother, like you just saw all of these things play out and how it gets passed down to generations, right? Like, isn't there a story of like, oh my gosh, like my I cook my pot roast like this. Like, I cut the ends off of my pot roast. Like, and that's just how we've been doing it. It's how we've been doing it. It's how we've been doing it. And then, like, one day you're like, well, let me go talk to my mom of, like, why we're doing that. Let me go talk to my grandma. Like, why I don't know. My mom just did it. My mom just did it. And it's really just, like, you get to the root and it's just like, oh, well, like, I have a pan big enough, so I had to cut the ends of the roast off. And so that's why we cut the ends of a roast. Like, y'all pan is fine. Y'all didn't have to change that up, right? But, like, these things have been happening for forever, and you really don't understand why until you, like, get to have these conversations. And I think that's, like, super important to do. And you know that I've been talking about, like, how do I spend the time with my mom? Or maybe you don't. But Maria, my therapist, who's no longer my therapist, she knows. But, yeah, I mean, like, there are things, like, again, for my mom, like, and that's my grandmother, and everyone says that me and my grandmother are so alike. And, like, she clearly married that man who tried to burn her and her children alive.
It's like, why are we getting to this
and
point?
Have full babies. Okay, so
why are we getting to this point? Like, is it the passion? It's probably the passion. It's like, with all of that crazy, like, bad shit that happens, it's probably a lot of, like, you know, they say the cycle of abuse, and that's how trafficking honestly happens too. Codependency. You get moments of, like, extreme romance and happiness and passion, and then you're met with a lot of grief and, like, really intense, like, conflict, and it just creates that cycle because you feel like you can't really go anywhere. And then also, when you do get with somebody who's relatively normal, you consider them really bland and boring, you know?
And why have I been thinking about No Name? I've been thinking about No Name mostly because it's been a year since we've met, because we met right around my birthday, like, right around, like, our second date, I think, was my birthday or something like that. So I've been thinking about him and being like, he's so boring. I'm like, should I hit him up?
No, because my thing is, like, he kind of showed his ass when you didn't express the desire to, like, take things a little further. But also, that was kind of a notion to yourself too. You like, I really ain't feeling you.
That, and, you know, it took a lot of me explaining that, like, you should just see why am I like, why didn't he go off on the old girl who said the N-word? Not that I wanted him to go off, but, like, it took a minute for you to, like, understand the weight of the situation, which, again, you didn't have to do anything about it, but, like, the fact that you're sitting here like, oh, it's normal, is weird. So anyway, but yes, I mean, like, you will be thinking like, you're not trying to set my whole house on fire with me in it. Why do you love me even? Like, do you even care?
It be like that. Like, it's scary to say, but a lot of women don't feel like a man really loves them until they get hit, smacked across the face.
Yeah, no, I don't want any of that. I don't want to.
So,
but yeah, I mean, I think that there's just generational trauma exists, or, like, there are things that, like, even for my dad, like, doesn't have a good relationship with his family, and, like, look at how that has played up. We were raised underneath my father, and, like, we are all very disconnected from family. So, like, is that going to continue? Like, are we all just going to be just stuck in our individual unit? Like, and I don't know. I want to unlearn that. I want to be able to heal my relationships. I know he's not really necessarily interested in having a ton of these conversations. I think he said he has tried, but, like, is over it, you know? And, like, I don't want that to be something that I take with me. So, you know, I'm trying to really build a community, really heal my relationships with my family and things like that. So there's that. Okay. Last question. Thank you so much. How do you want to parent differently from your own parents? What will you carry forward?
I think I need to recognize, if I have a child, when I see my child overexerting themselves or kind of, like, overextending themselves, like, telling them, like, to pull back a little bit. And then, like, just to balance that self-care with being selfless at the same time, you know? Because I kind of can go overboard, and then it goes into borderline people pleasing, and then it turns into resentment. And I hate that. You know, when I wish that someone could tell me, like, you've done enough, you know? I went, sorry, I heard that shit. I went into a little detail during our holiday letdown episode where I was like, I hated the fact that my brother just showed up, ate, and left. When I showed up, cooked, cleaned up, packed everything, then I got to sit down, But yeah, I felt like for some reason, I don't know why, I feel like I didn't do enough, or I'm just being a selfish person, because I didn't clean that pot. I let it soak overnight,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate also that like you could have the same parents and they raise you differently from your siblings. That's interesting. I think there's obviously
it's the
some
boy,
gender
roles. The guys get away with murder in my house. My dad didn't have to do a damn thing. My brothers don't have to do a damn thing. And yet I was told to fend for myself super early, like I just I didn't get it. I kind of want to talk to my mom about it, but I understand she's like, well, I don't want you to depend on anybody. But yet you allow men to be dependent on you. Like, I don't like that. So, yeah. And also I want, like, if I have a boy and a girl, it's more so like at the end of the day, I really want I want the guy to have a male figure. If it's not their father, they're going to have somebody in their life that's going to like hold them accountable and not take it too easy on them. Because that's what I think guys need. Everyone needs that balance. Both men and women, you need that softness from that woman, but you also need that hard and accountability aspect from the man, or even if it's vice versa, if a man is more softer and the woman is a little bit more hard, you need both hard and soft to meet in the middle. I feel like that's important. Because I'm not going to have no lazy ass boy. Okay. I'm not going to have no boy to feel like he can just treat women any old type of way just because he feels like he's God's gift to earth as a black man. Who gives a Ooh, I was about to go in, child. Let me stop right there. Just know that at the end of the day, you are on this earth. You need to contribute to this earth as a person and to yourself fully. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I was raised with girls, so I don't have the gender difference, conversation to talk about. But my cousin that I've been observing since I've been in North Carolina, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you come out like this? And then your two sisters are, taking care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get so many men who just do not? No, I know it's the patriarchy.
It's the women. I mean, yes, it's the patriarchy. I'm sorry. It's the patriarchy.
Yes, and it impacts men and women. Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, for me, my lesson, if I was to have a child, what would I do differently? I just want that child to know that, like, I see them. Like, one of the experiences of my childhood that I can not stand and wish was different was just wanting to be wanted. I felt very much like a nuisance, very much like we don't want anything to do with you. Really, you are really annoying, actually, to have around. Unless you're being productive somehow in the house, then cool, good for us. But other than that, don't care about you. Not really checking in on you, not really seeing what you got going on. I mean, I'm not letting you do anything. So you go to soccer, you do your student council, like you're in the band. But like in regards to like a social life, like no, that's funny. We don't let you do anything else. You stay in this house, and then also we don't entertain you. Like we're not trying to build any community in this home for you to experience. So like, we're not letting you out to have fun and be social. We're not trying to socialize with you because we don't want to spend any extra free time chatting it up with you because we actually don't want you around. So for me, what I would do differently for a child is just like to give them, Oprah says it, and I don't know exactly what she says. I'm going to butcher it, but it's just like a child wants to have your eyes light up when you enter a room. And that's what I would like to give to anybody who comes into my space. Like, I just want to be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm glad that you're around, like, versus like, ugh, I got to see you again. And that's kind of like the vibe that I have been, raised in. And so if I was to have a child, it would be because I genuinely want to. If I was going to be a stepmother, it would be because I genuinely like everything that's connected to my future husband, which would include the children, because I don't want you to enter into my orbit and for me to be like, I would prefer you to not be here.
So. Trust me, there's a lot of people like that. Right?
Oh my God.
Good job.
And a headphone died. Sorry.
Yeah, I heard that. That's why I put one in, just so I can like savor one. All right. Yeah. So now, any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. You can't pick your parents, but you can heal from them. So go to therapy.
Right? That's it.
Or drink wine or find another vice.
No, don't do that. Don't.
Drugs,
okay.
Alcohol.
well, once you're done with that, and once you're fat, and once you have liver issues, and once you lost everything in your life based off of substance abuse, then make your way.
Shut up.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Where you come from? Ain't anybody subbing you? Hold on. You right. Okay, we're being serious though. After you've done all that bullshit, what is done at the end of the day? The morning comes up and you wake up, you still got you. You got to look in the mirror. So you better go get with God or get with a therapist. You should do both, but I don't know who you believe in, so.
So that's going to take us to our Am I Just Being Extra segment of the podcast. This is our advice segment of the podcast. So if you have a question that you would like to ask us, are you, being extra? Are you, doing too much in a situation? Feel free to send us an email at justextrapodcast@gmail.com, and you will have your chance to have your scenario, your question read on the podcast. All right, so I'm pulling it up. It says, "Hi, am I just being extra? I'm a 32-year-old woman with a stable job, a great group of friends, and an okay-ish dating life. Recently, I started considering freezing my eggs because I'm not sure when or if I'll meet the right person to have kids with. Here's the twist. My parents are adamantly against it. They say it's playing God and that I'm putting career and independence above family, which, according to them, is selfish. But here's where it gets messy. I'd need financial help to afford the procedure. I've saved half, but the other half would come from them. So now they think it's their decision too. I feel like this is an investment in my future, and I'm not giving up on love or family. I'm just trying to keep my options open. Am I being extra for wanting to do this even though they're against it and for asking them to support it financially? Or are they the ones being extra for making this about their beliefs? What do you think?" All right, listener, thank you so much for writing in. I think this is such an interesting scenario. And as someone who has just turned 33 years old, I myself have been thinking about freezing my eggs, even though I don't want children. But you never really know. I could change my mind. I could. And so why not just have the options? Although the government, who knows what's going to happen there.
Right.
But I think this is a very interesting scenario, and there's a lot of different things that we can talk about in it. I know this is like a long AF episode, but there's so many good things to talk about in here. I'm like, Jackie, where do you want to start?
Can I just say, I think she's being extra because parenting costs money. If you want to be a parent and you want to do it the traditional way, you could do it the traditional way, but then also you're going to know you're going to face a lot of hardship raising that child because it costs a lot of money to have children. Okay. So you're just trying to get to getting pregnant part. You're spending so much money to get pregnant. And I feel like people are so obsessed with having their own DNA. You're willing to go through hoops and go into debt to do it just for your child to more than likely end up with a disability. And that's going to cost more on the back end just because you wanted to be wanted a child of your own. I think that, if you really wanted to do that, you know, you'll have to sacrifice and actually put the work in to become a parent. But also, you can become a parent other ways. You could foster, you could adopt. You don't have to do that. Because at the end of the day, like, not to say playing God is wrong, because my thing is, people go through things, they can do whatever they got to do to have their child. But my thing is, you're putting other people in a position to have a child that you don't know what's going to come out like, just because you want your own DNA. I feel like it's kind of selfish in a way. So I feel like if you want it, you need to go ahead and afford it yourself, or move to a state that will, you know, or get a job that will provide you that assistance, because there are jobs that help you. That's just my thoughts and my opinions on it.
Yeah. I think you're accurate in regards to the fact that I'm like, listen, how much is egg freezing? And I know it's different depending on your benefits and things like that, but some people are like, it's like $10,000, which is not, it's not like no money. $10,000 is money. But like, if you want to have a child, I think to your point, financially, you should be in a place where it's like, if you're making that decision, then I feel like you, especially at 32, it should have been something that you've maybe been thinking about for a little bit of time. And if you only have half of $10,000, $5K, I don't know. And again, I'm not watching your pockets, but I'm just like, if you have to ask your parents to help you start your child life, and I know that like daycare and like all of those other things cost a ton of money, and people are using their parents to save on that kind of cost and things like that, which I think is like more acceptable. But if like you need your parents to like even have the child, I think that's a different story. I think that you should be in a place where it's like, okay, I have not, because if that's all you have, like, are you going to start over saving again for like diapers and clothes and like the crib and a home nursery and the space and like you don't even have enough. It
costs a lot of money,
right? You don't even have enough for the IVF. So I'm just like, that's interesting. I think for sure I would agree that you are being extra because you don't have. I think oh no, you muted. You don't have the extra to like get yourself in a position to be financially stable. And I'm not saying that money is the only thing that it takes to like raise a child, but I think that it is a very, 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 very important part of raising a child, because one thing that I used to have conversations with my ex is like, what is the point of putting a person into the world and giving them no experiences, no access to anything? Like, you're not even setting them up well. So you're just going to have this child and keep them in the house. You can't put them in soccer, cheerleading, arts and crafts. Like, you can't even give them an experience. Like, you're on food stamp. Like, again, and everybody's situation is what their situation is. But if you don't have a mate, it's not something that you're like, oh my gosh, like, we're planning and blah, 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 then I think that the first thing you should do as a single individual is get your coins together, because you don't even have a partner that's going to help you with everything else. And you don't want this child to just hang on to your leg for its entire life because it can't do anything, because you can't give them access or support for anything. So I think from that perspective, yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I think that you can, like Jackie's saying, meet your needs of raising a child in different ways. Now, you didn't say you had siblings, but do you have siblings? Because if you do they have children? Can you be an active aunt in their life? Like, can you participate in that way? Can you spend your volunteer times at the Boys and Girls Club and like really try and nurture and cater to children from that perspective? Like, there are a bunch of like what did I participate in? The Development School for Youth, the All Stars program. Like, you were helping kids in high school. I know they're not like cute babies, but like, who babies are overrated anyway. Like, I want something that can talk back to me and like, let's actually have an engaging conversation. But like, then you can like really start to help people who really need help and assistance. So I really want you to think about why you want children, what need you feel like you are feeling. If you have great friends and your family supportive, your career is going well. You're only 32. I'm not even saying that you're like super old. They technically consider a geriatric pregnancy at 36, 35.
Yeah, I think 35, 36.
So you have a couple years before you're technically geriatric. But yes, you should be planning egg freezing now. But I just think that like, give yourself some more time to really save. Wait another year or two at least to get your own funds. And then you don't have to deal with your family's perspective on how you're starting this family. I don't agree with your family. We haven't touched on that whole side. I don't agree that like you are being selfish for doing this on your own and like prioritizing what is important to you. I'm not like a super religious person, so I don't think that like you're like, I don't know. I just don't think that you're like trying to be God. I think that you're using your resources. However, what kind of person are you? And maybe I'll respond differently. Because if you are a no good person, I would be like, yeah, no, your seeds were meant to die off. Don't save them. But I don't know anything about you, so I can't comment on that. So hopefully you're good, and we want your sperm and eggs in the world.
Where are you getting the sperm from? I guess sperm is, you can find it anywhere, fine. But whatever. Good luck to you. But I do want you to ask yourself, like, you know, if this is something you really want, just like anything else in this world, you know, are you willing to put in the work to get it? That's it.
Perfect. Again, we hope we answered your question. Feel free to give us an update if you would like. And again, we told y'all hoes how to send an email in so we can answer your questions as well. We're open to that ish. Give us a follow. Give us a like. If you like this episode, definitely let us know. 5 stars. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok for now. We haven't talked about TikTok, but you can follow us there for now at @justextra_podcast. You can follow us all on Instagram. Jackie is at all things J. J is spelled out Jay. I'm Erica at Erica_stay ready. Hassan, he's chimed in a few times. He's at Mr.Forbes. Dot is spelled out DOT. It's not a dot, it's DOT. And we will catch you on the next episode. Pray for me.
We're just being extra.